second part of this next portion is going to be Scott Porter with Diablo Churros, who, if you have been at our RevRoad recently, Scott was one of our featured founded speakers, and super fun. He is a serial entrepreneur who has founded a home health agency, a toy game company, an airline, and most recently, Diablo Churros. He's going to talk about telling the story of a brand experience and touch on how his approach to tying marketing without budget to operations made a difference for his company. The other thing about Scott is he introduced us and reminded us how fun a cowbell can be. So hopefully you brought that, Scott. If not, somebody download the cowbell app because we're going to use it for Scott. All right, so we're going to turn the time over to these guys to wrap up our event.
Hi, everyone. So great to be with you today. Thank you, Eric. I feel like we were super well instructed on, I was taking notes on some things I could do. I don't know if any of you have had, I also run a gourmet churro business. So if you haven't had our churros yet, we need to remedy that as soon as possible. So we make our churros from scratch and then fill them with happiness. And so we have a great time doing that. I also am a student and just absolutely obsessed with marketing and brand experience as a competitive advantage. So I want to share with you, I need to put the code in. I'm sorry. The Apple TV code. Here we go. All right. There we go. So just like springboarding jumping off from what Eric said about just getting your marketing plan going. I remember when I've been involved in a bunch of different industries in my career. And when I was running a nursing home in the Pasadena area, anyone from the LA area? Not a soul. That's okay. You visited? Okay, good. I love LA, and I was in the Pasadena area, and the first nursing home that I took over and we were running was called Mission Care and Rehab. And the moment that we took over this facility, it was bankrupt and had less than 50% capacity. And so it was my job as the executive director of the nursing home, together with my team and our director of nursing, to turn this nursing home around. And which was what initially drove me to the nursing, attracted me to the nursing home industry in the first place, was the opportunity to take something that was not attractive. I didn't grow up thinking I wanted to work. I didn't dream of working in a nursing home. And I thought, we're bankrupt. We don't have any money. How are we going to do the types of things that Eric talked about? How are we going to do those strategies? And maybe some of you are asking yourselves the same thing. Like, we have limited bandwidth, we have limited funds. How are we going to make these things happen? And so I was looking at implementing a number of the strategies that Eric discussed. And one of them, he led his discussion talking about the power of the experience. And I thought, gosh, what if if together with our team, we could create an experience at a nursing home of all places that was so compelling and so pleasant and so different than you experience at any other nursing home, that doctors were talking about it, our residents were talking about their families, nurses, like the hospitals. And so I started to study what other businesses had done, businesses that you all hear about and probably love on this list, right? Looked at what they do to create an experience that builds fierce loyalty from us, where we see their logo and like endorphins, right? Like, I love Trader Joe's, those plantain chips, right? Or the double, like you just get excited when you see the brands. Like that's what these, and I started to be this just voracious student about what they did to create an extraordinary experience that basically created all of us to be evangelists for their companies. So how could we do that at a nursing home? And so I started to create a system and framework that pulled principles from all of these businesses. And so we were doing things like we would take our CNAs and our janitors to the Ritz-Carlton in Pasadena for a training. We offered all of every single person that came into the nursing home, we offered them a bottle of water. We talked about incorporating cultural principles. We looked people in the eye. We smiled. I mean, it sounds silly to say these things, but it is legitimately, if you've ever had a family member in a nursing home, you know what that feels like. My father's currently in a nursing home. Sorry, it really hits home right now because, and I'll talk a little bit about this, but my father recently had a severe stroke and is in a nursing home and has been there for about 6 months. And so this is very real to me. And so how can we create an experience that's so special, that recognizes the humanity, that introduces humanity back to the business experience? And so you're doing all sorts of different businesses. Some of them have tangible objects. Some of them are SaaS. Some of them are all across the board. No matter what your business is, we are still ultimately humans interacting with human beings. We're humans making decisions and causing feelings and emotions in other human beings. And so as you're looking at your marketing strategy, as you're looking at creating the culture within your company, how are you designing that to create a human experience that is positive and amazing? And so so we were incorporating all these things. One of my pet peeves is when they say at a nursing home, like, number 5B needs needs their diaper changed, or needs an IV. That is a human being. Do not call them a number. And so when we interviewed our team, we're like, look, these are the expectations that we have of you, the experience we're trying to create here so that we can stand out among everyone else. And if they didn't, they're like, I don't think I can do that. We're like, great. Please go and work for someone else because we don't want you here. We're trying to do something different and special. And so those are the types of things that we would do. And with it, fast forward a year, after about a year of incorporating all of this, it doesn't happen overnight. But after a year, we made a yearly annual revenue was $4.5 million. We pulled ourselves out of bankruptcy. We were a thriving business. We were able to attract top-tier talent. Doctors referred their parents to come and live at our facility. And that's really a feather in your cap in that industry. And so I very early on saw the incredible power that we have to create positive brand experiences. And interestingly enough, Roald Dahl, who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, said, the greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places. The most unlikely places to find out the secrets of creating an extraordinary brand experience for me are in a taco stand. I am on the search for the perfect taco. I'm crazy. I have a search for the perfect taco Instagram account. Everywhere I go, I applauded. Where are you, Matt? Where are you? Matt. Q, Matt. Where are your Tacosaurus socks? Oh, I thought he said Matt. I'm sorry, Ben. He had to leave. Shoot. I was going to have him show everyone his Tacosaurus socks. Happy Taco Tuesday, everyone, by the way. I've been doing, exactly, give it a cowbell for Taco Tuesday. I've been leading people on taco tours in Mexico City. I've taken hundreds of people there to discover the virtues of what you can learn from a taco stand. I'm so crazy. No, I'm serious. I really am. No, legit, that's what I do. The only thing to do is go to a taco stand. Yeah. You can come with us on the next taco tour. I love tacos so much, I sometimes wonder if there's a taco out there dreaming of me, too. So let me tell you about a recent experience that I had a couple years ago in East LA. This is one of my favorite taco trucks there, El Pecas. It's right in at the intersection of where the 5 and the 60 and the 10 freeways meet at an obscure car wash up top. And there's like police sirens going. I mean, it's East LA, so it's awesome. It's like home sweet home. I hadn't been there in 6 months, and I walk up to this window, which 6 months not going here in and of itself is a tragedy. I walk up to that window, and Ernesto greets me, and he says, "Scott, where you been for the past 6 months? Do you want your tacos al pastor the way you always like them? Extra crispy meat with extra pineapple." Exactly. And I'm like, what? I mean, of course, that's how I want them, but I'm like, thought I was being punked, right? What is going on here? What stands out? I mean, that's like a micro experience, 30 seconds. What stands out to you about what Ernesto did with me? He knew me. How was that demonstrated? He knew my name. He knew how long. He knew how I liked my tacos.
Can that compensate for bad tacos?
We're going to talk about that. Oh, sorry, taco about that. Thank you. That's so great. The virtue of the cowbell as well. So, yes. Anything else stand out to you about that? Let me tell you what else. Ernesto's not the owner. Okay? So you could probably expect that, or you wouldn't be surprised to expect that from the owner, but Ernesto's not the owner. I have told thousands of people about this experience because imagine if all of you're either hiring or will be hiring soon, imagine if all of your salespeople, if all of your executive team treated people just like Ernesto did. If we remembered that, what does that do? How do I feel? Put yourself in my position at that window. How do I feel that he knows all that about me? And he wants to give me this amazing taco. Important. Special. Good. Exactly, right? I'm so happy. This guy, I feel like a VIP. I mean, this is just unbelievable. The reality is, all of us, was mentioned earlier, Eric talked about it, we are having thousands of brand experiences every day. Thousands. Think about how many brands you are touching right now, or that are on your body. Maybe you put them on in the morning. You're still wearing your favorite socks. Eric's wearing his favorite shirt. Yeah, we love it. Whatever you're wearing, we are literally having thousands of brand experiences all the time. And we're making decisions about where we spend our time, where we spend our money, what we share on the internet, what we share with other people in person. 70% of us purchase based on how we feel about a brand, according to McKinsey. So how crucial is it that we, as business leaders, are creating experiences that are making people feel exceptional, feel special, feel good, feel important? Eric mentioned this as well. We are now shifting from an information economy into a relationship economy, to an H2H, human-to-human economy. And the sooner the businesses realize that, the sooner you will win. The businesses that are realizing that now are winning. You'll start to pick up on this. You'll see this. Businesses that are connecting with you on a human level, that are remembering your name, that are utilizing technology to give you a more personalized and more customized experience. By the year 2020, which is not far away, Walker Consulting says that customer experience will overcome product and pricing as a key brand differentiator. This will be the number one brand differentiator. So if you're not thinking about this, you better be thinking about this. This is the world that we live in now, is the experience economy. Let me tell you a little bit about this. So I mentioned this earlier. I was recently in Japan. This was a scene that was not unfamiliar in the subway there. We are in a hyper-connected world, right? Many of us are in front of screens right now, or you have them in your pocket. We, as connected as we are starving for real human connection. We're starving for it. Kids these days don't even know how to have a face-to-face communication often, and conversation. Some of us may struggle with that. But as connected as we are longing for real human connection. Let me tell you what this looks like personally. I mentioned about my father. When he was in intensive care in the hospital and looking to be transferred to a nursing home, we were talking with I was talking to one of the insurance agents on the phone. And she was talking about the transfer, and we were talking all these crazy logistics about it. And she said, "Yeah, your bed, when your bed's ready to be transferred from the hospital to the nursing home," and she kept mentioning my bed was being transferred from here to there. And I'm like, "I'm sorry, excuse me 1 second. When you say my bed, are you talking about my dad?" Because I said, "My dad's a human being. I love my dad. Please don't refer to my dad anymore as an inanimate object." And this is the type of world that we live in, where we are accustomed to transactions instead of interactions. Let me tell you what that looks like in a recent interaction that we had at San Diablo. So, like I mentioned, I run a gourmet churro business. We do catering for weddings, parties, special events, unlimited mini churros. And Lauren contacted us. Follow with me now, bottom up, okay? Lauren contacted us and said she was getting married and she wanted to give her a quote for churros at her wedding. And this is what she said after Camille, our events manager, followed up. "Hi, Camille. I am no longer getting married and in need of your service." Camille responds, "Hi, Lauren. I'm so sorry. I've had 2 engagements end, and I know it's not all roses, no matter the circumstances. Hope you are doing well and feeling hopeful about your bright future. Come get a churro on the house next time you see us somewhere. Tell them Camille sent you, smiley face." Lauren responds, "Thank you, Camille. I will forever be a customer of San Diablo." What's happening here? What happened? Why do I share this with you?
You're validating emotional hierarchy of needs.
Tell us what you mean by that. That sounds so sophisticated.
It's so
Which I love. But tell us what you want.
be loved, affirmed,
Yeah.
validated, appreciated, understood.
Yeah. Now, normally, that was beautifully put. Normally, what would we respond if someone's like, "You know what? I don't need your business anymore. Thank you." We'd respond what? "Thank you so much." Or maybe even not "thank you so much." We just don't respond. How long did it take Camille to write this 2-line email? What difference does this make for Lauren? And what is Lauren going to be saying about San Diablo to other people about this experience?
I even think that Camille took more time because she's the kind of person that felt like it deserved that
Yeah.
and would do it again.
So she just said that Camille took a little bit more time because she's that kind of person. I will tell you that I've never told Camille to respond like this in an email to anyone. I've never said, "This is how you respond when someone breaks off their engagement and they don't need our churros anymore." I've never said that. But what we have established at San Diablo is the definition of what is important to us and what our mission and goals are and what type of experience we're trying to create. We want to create the best food experience in the world. We want to help people feel like VIPs. We want to help people experience the joy of food. Was that accomplished in this? She hasn't even met this person face to face. So if you think that brand experience is only applicable if you have a face-to-face business, think again. Your chatbots, do they have a voice? Do your emails have a voice? Does your website have a voice? How do you feel how do people feel when they're reading your website? How do people feel? Can you hear a smile over the phone? Can you tell when someone's smiling when you're talking to them over the phone? All of those things are crafting a brand experience. And guess what? This all feels really good, right? We're like, yeah, that makes sense intrinsically, internally, it makes sense. But guess what? There are actual amazing business results that come when we create a positive customer experience or positive CX. We can expect our customers to spend 140% more. Do you guys want that? How's that sound? Anyone? Yeah, cowbell, please, for 140% more. Revenues go up 15%, costs go down 20%, loyalty and happiness skyrocket. How does that sound to you guys? Plug your own numbers in there. These are the very real implications. Now, granted, this is not going to happen overnight. This is not going to be like we implement this right now and boom, like 140% more next day. This is a long tail. Are you looking to make impact? Are you looking for is your game a long game? It took us about a year at Mission Care and Rehab at the nursing home in Pasadena to be able to get to that point. Let me tell you about, dang it, I already showed it. That's okay, hopefully you didn't see. Anyone like Trader Joe's? Yep. Oh man, so good, right? The samples in the corner, amazing. They're so friendly. So I'm at Trader Joe's. I'm getting my plantain chips, and like 5 feet next to me, this is in Salt Lake, 5 feet next to me, Alec is stocking the shelves. I'm like studying this new thing, coconut crispy something. I'm like, what is this? I didn't say anything, but I'm like studying it. He's obviously seeing that I'm perplexed by it. He says, hey, have you tried that before? And I said, no. He's like, well, go ahead and open up and try it. Don't mind if I do. And so I like whip the bag open. I try the like coconut crispy, sesame seed, whatevers. And I'm like, man, these would be really good on my Greek yogurt every morning. Awesome. And I grab 2 bags. I go to walk to pick them up. As I'm walking to the cashier, his manager passes me, and I overhear his manager say, hey, Alec, one of our customers, she has a flat tire. Can you go help her change the tire? He's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, who's this guy? I'm like, I want him on my team all the time, right? We want to hire Alec, 10 Alecs a day. So I'm like, great, this is awesome. I go purchase my stuff, and I'm that psycho guy, and I follow him out to the parking lot, and because I want to see what this is all about. And so I follow Alec, and I find him, as you can expect, with a big fat smile on his face, changing her tire. And I say, Alec, what is this all about? Why are you doing this? And he says, this is just what we do. This is just what we do at Trader Joe's. What does that tell you about Trader Joe's?
They're in the human business.
They're in the human business. How is that evident?
They see people instead of dollars.
They see people instead of dollars. Yes, please.
Well, and just a thought too. I think I've never been to Trader Joe's, but they're kind of pricey, right?
It depends.
Oh, okay.
Those plantain chips are $1.69.
Okay.
I get 12 packages when I'm there every week, but go ahead.
Well, so I think that the thing that's gonna, I've seen, there's a store around here called Harmon's, okay?
Okay? Oh, please, thank you.
Oh, okay. What's interesting about Harmon's is, okay, that's right, no problem. Oh, there it is. Okay, great. Whoa, okay. What's interesting about Harmon's is a lot of what they sell is very much the same as what's in other stores. And then there's a few other things that they sell, and they're kind of boutique-y and so forth. And I think that that's how a lot of stores, because retail is really getting clobbered now, right? And I think that the way that they're going to survive is by being boutique-y or being special or different in that feeling that you get, right? You know what I mean? The folks that are just doing efficiently and so forth. I think of like Winco, for example. Winco is awesome because, yes, they're very low priced and so forth, but what's really neat is they treat their employees very well. And you feel that when you're in there. And you contrast that with Walmart, for example, okay? It's just a much different feel.
Yep.
And so I feel like I want to go to Winco.
You want to go there,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you want to be a patron, and you want to support that kind of, that you feel different and better about yourself when you're there. And what's interesting about retail that we're seeing, while there are tons of retail shops, and especially big box retail shops closing down, retail is not going away. You also see a ton of companies that have started direct to consumer that are now actually going to brick and mortar. Warby Parker, anyone bought Warby Parker glasses? They have brick and mortar stores now. Cotopaxi, anyone a fan, right? They have brick and mortar stores now. What we're finding is companies want, and the reason why some retailers have failed is that they've failed to evolve where people are longing for that type of experience, to feel special, to feel like understood, to go to an expert, to have that human interaction. So let me tell you about what happened. So I shared this experience at a presentation recently, and Emily comes up to me afterwards, and Emily says, "You're never gonna believe what happened to me at Trader Joe's." I'm like, "Okay, try me." And she said, so I was there with my husband, we were at the cashier, and the cashier, as they normally do, said, "How was your day?" And how do we normally respond? Fine, great, good, whatever, right? And so she's like, but I thought, I'm going to tell him what really went down. And she's like, "Well, my husband and I bought a car today." The cashier reaches behind them, grabs a bouquet of flowers, and says, "Congratulations." And gives them a bouquet of flowers. Why do you laugh? Why do you that's awesome? Why is that a wow?
Because they don't do that at Walmart.
Okay, they don't do that at Walmart, which is one of their differentiators, right? What else? If you're the leader at Trader Joe's in Monrovia, California, you're doing cartwheels down the corporate halls because you are so stoked and so happy that your employees at every level are empowered to create that type of wow experience, right? I mean, guess what happened? So here's Emily. She posts about it on Instagram. Good thing she got a pedicure that day. And how many followers does Emily have on Instagram? 24,000 followers that heard about this Trader Joe's story.
Great marketing.
I love Emily, by the way.
She's so awesome. Great marketing. How much does marketing like this cost on Facebook or LinkedIn ads, right? I mean, this is gold. This is what we want. And this was all created from the crafting of an experience that was supported at every level, operationally, within the training. You think about all the things that had to happen so that cashier gave them a bouquet of flowers. There were training that they hired the right person. Their operations were in place to be able to have the flowers right there, and maybe operationally on the cash register. Thank you. It was there to be able to gift someone something to surprise and delight. Amazing. Think about your brand. And this could be your business brand. Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. And this goes to this also goes along with your family brand. What do people say about your family's brand when you're not around? What about your personal brand? We talked about LinkedIn and the importance of crafting a solid profile. That all is part of your brand. What are people saying about you? And so people are talking. It's whether or not you want to have an influence on what they're saying. And you want to guide that decision. And so as you're looking at creating your own brand and customer experience, we may fall into this category. Recently, Ryan Smith shared this statistic from Qualtrics. 80% of CEOs think they're just crushing the customer experience, that they're just like killing it. They're doing so awesome. When in reality, only 8% of their customers agree. Huge gap. Huge gap. To me, I see that as an amazing opportunity with big doors. All I see are blue skies, because guess what that means for us as businesses that have competition for people's dollars, for people's eyeballs, for people's attention, everything. That means that if we can create something that is a positive brand and customer experience, we can thrive. And we can thrive in however you personally define thriving, whether that's ridiculous wealth, amazing social impact, fulfillment internally, personally, whatever that is, amazing opportunities. So what do? Let me share with you a couple of quick things just to end on. There's 4 principles of extraordinary brand experience that just conveniently happen to spell the word taco, imagine. And so the first one is the fundamentals. And this is super simple. Whatever you're doing, it has to work. If you make churros as your business, the churros have to be good. If you make electric cars, they have to work. Otherwise, no one's coming back. So whatever it is, your software, your product, whatever it is, it just simply has to work. Famous coach Vince Lombardi said, without the fundamentals, the details are useless. A, always positive, different, and special. This is a sloth. Really, it's like ugly cute, right? So awesome. This will be like seared in my memory forever. I was in Iquitos, Peru. Have you guys been to like a developing country artisan market, handicraft market, right? It's a sea of sameness, right? You go back booth after booth after booth, all the same necklaces and like rain sticks and whatever, all the same stuff, same price. And I'm like thinking, I always have my marketing glasses on and I can't take them off. And I'm like, in this market, I'm like, why am I going to stop at this place and spend my money over this place, over this place? So I'm thinking about this and I'm like, oh man, I just want to help these people understand the importance of differentiation. As I'm thinking this, I look all the way down the hallway and there's this kiosk that is just bursting at the seams with people. I'm like, what is going on down there? I go down there and everyone's like crowded. They're either standing in line, looking at their pictures, whatever, to hold a live sloth. They're all in line to hold a live sloth. Who doesn't want to hold a live sloth? They're like wiry, bony, bristly. They're like three tooth or 3 clawed. Wait, what is it? 3-toed. Thank you. Toes. They're like nails, but toes. And they like grip you, and they're really awkward animals, but it's so crazy. You want that sloth selfie. And so of all those businesses in that market, who do you think is winning? That one. They're making the most money that day because guess what? Where are you spending your money? You're spending it there, even though the place right next to it is doing the exact same thing. They've cared about you. Your endorphins are high. You're feeling great. You're loving it. I'll end with 2 more things here. Seth Godin, another bald guy, mentioned surprise and differentiation have far more impact than noise does. 2 last things, I'll end really quick. Consistent commitment. Your commitment to creating a positive experience needs to happen at every level of your organization, and it needs to start with you as the business leader. You have to lead out. Your people are watching you. They're watching how you interact with others, what you say, what you do. If you're setting the tone and setting the stage for creating an amazing experience that goes above and beyond. When I worked in the nursing home business, one of the biggest complaints about nursing homes are unanswered call lights. You know, the button you push that says, "Nurse, come help me." Unanswered call lights. We told them if we would tell our team, Elizabeth and I, if you ever catch us passing a call light and not answering it, we have to give you $20 out of our pocket on the spot. So you better believe that everyone's watching us to make sure that I think sometimes they would position themselves in a room and do a call light just to test us, right? But in the time that I worked in nursing, I never gave anyone $20 because and it was a good check for me as the leader to really walk the talk. To create, if I'm really looking at creating an experience that I want to use as one of my most important marketing tools, if I want to use it as my competitive advantage, I have to live that. I have to live that. And Elizabeth and I had to live that. Consistent commitment at every level. Consistent hard work leads to success. Greatness will come, said The Rock. Last one. Oh, wow. This is an experience that I had at Los Machetes in Mexico City. They've been in business for 52 years making tacos as long as your arm. They're like a machete blade, Los Machetes, right? And unbelievable, unique in and of itself, right? Like that's their sloth factor, right? That's what sets them apart from everything else. Let me share with you what happens when they delivered more than expected to me. Hopefully the sound works. There we go. This is the owner, Amparo, on the left, when she invited me. No, así. A ver, ¿qué estoy haciendo mal? Está bien. Así ya fácil.
Cuando está de este lado, igual es así.
Así.
De allá para acá.
Ay, pobrecito machete. And they're like totally making fun of me and laughing. It's amazing. I was having the time of my life. They were inviting me to be part of the brand experience. And so I asked, like, as you're thinking about creating experiences that stand out, that make people evangelists for your brand, how are you inviting them to be part of the process? It doesn't always work with everything. Like, I don't want my surgeon inviting me to cut anyone open. But you got to be thinking about how can you do that? Like, what can you do? And all of the different touch points that you have involved. What can you do? And Eric talked brilliantly about this. How do you create something that's memorable, meaningful? How do you create something that's personal? I'll end with one last experience here at a taco place in Tijuana. This is across from the racetrack. And I had my first round of tacos. I was going up for round 2, and I said, "Hey, can you make those? Those were perfect. Can you make those exactly how you did them before?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, why not?" And he's like, "I'm gonna make them even better." And so that's what this is all about. How can you're already creating brand experiences. Maybe you feel really good about where you're at with your marketing, with your brand experience. How can we dial it up a notch? How can we address that gap of us thinking that we're doing so awesome when in reality, we have a lot of room to grow? How can we create something that's just a little bit better so we make the world a better place, so we honor the humanity in the experience, and we just join the movement of the world of being a part of this new relationship economy that we're in. I'm excited to see what you're going to do with your businesses and what type of experiences you're going to have and how you're going to change the world. One churro or taco or SaaS experience at a time. So it's been great to be with you guys. If you have any questions, I'm happy to stay after. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. If there's anything else I can do to help, please let me know. Thank you.